The light in the office has been off for 20 minutes. You know this because you know every sound this building makes. The scanner that ticks for no reason. The cooler doors that seal with a specific sucking click. The fluorescent tube in the far aisle that stutters every few minutes like it's trying to say something. You know this building the way you know your own bedroom. You've worked here for months. You know the motion sensor in that back hallway runs a 5-minute timer. He went back there 20 minutes ago. It started the way most bad nights start, with something small that you almost didn't notice. You're 18 years old, alone on a shift you volunteered for, in a gas station sitting at the edge of town where the street lights stop and the dark has actual weight to it. The deep south at night isn't dark the way cities are dark. It's dark the way the inside of something is dark. Past the pump canopy, past the edge of the lot where the fluorescent light gives out, there is nothing. No ambient glow, no distant windows, no suggestion that the world continues past what you can see from behind the register. Inside, everything is bright and humming and familiar. You've swept the floor 3 times, you've restocked the coolers, you've mopped until there was nothing left to mop. Now you're at the register with your phone and a Powerade and 4 hours until morning. When the door opens, you look up and deliver your greeting on reflex before you finish looking at him. Then you finish looking. Tall, disheveled in a way that your brain files under wrong, without being able to explain why. Not dirty, not aggressive, not anything you could articulate to a police officer later. Just wrong in the specific way that certain things are wrong before you have language for it. He stands at the register, and his eyes don't settle on your face. They move past you, to the corridor behind the counter, the office door, the stockroom entrance, the geometry of the space you're standing in, how it connects, what's back there, whether anyone else is. He asks where the bathroom is. You point him toward the back hall, past the register, second door on the left. He nods and walks past you, and you watch him turn the corner into the corridor, and you listen for the specific creak of the bathroom door hinge, which you would recognize. It doesn't come. The hallway light clicks on when he enters. You watch the thin strip of light under the corridor entrance, and you go back to your phone, and you tell yourself he's in there. The door is just quiet tonight. Some hinges don't creak. This is nothing. 5 minutes pass. The hallway light turns off. Your regular comes in at 11:30. 22 years in the Marines. Comes in every week, buys lottery tickets, fills the room with the particular settled weight of someone who has learned exactly how much space they take up and made peace with it. He leans on the counter and you talk, and for a few minutes the building feels less like a container and more like a place. Then something falls in the back. The hollow clatter of a long handle hitting concrete. A mop, a broom, something leaning against a wall that has stopped leaning. Your regular's eyes move to the corridor. Slow, the way trained eyes move. He asks if you're working alone. You say yes. He asks if you want him to take a look around back. This is the moment. You will think about this moment for years afterward, the exact weight of it, how thin the membrane was between the night you had and the night you could have had. You are 18. You don't want trouble with your manager. You don't want to be the girl who made a fuss. The noise was probably just a broom. You tell him no. You tell him you're fine. He says goodnight. He'll be back later for lottery tickets. He walks through the glass door, and the dark outside swallows him whole, and the building is yours again. The hallway light is still off. 40 minutes, maybe more. You drink the rest of your Powerade. You text 3 people. You sweep a floor that doesn't need it. Eventually, your body makes a demand that overrides everything else, and you step out from behind the register and walk toward the back corridor. The motion sensor clicks on as you enter. Flat white light, the kind that shows everything. The bathroom door is on your left, the stockroom beyond it, and at the end of the hall. The office door is open. Not wide, not dramatically. Open the way a door looks when someone tried to be careful about it and didn't quite manage. 8 inches, maybe less. Enough for the room beyond to be dark. Enough that the hall light doesn't reach whatever is on the other side. You close that door at the start of your shift. You remember closing it. You raise your foot, you kick the door. It swings hard into the room, and the motion sensor inside catches the movement and the light comes on. He is standing behind the door, both arms at his sides, not startled, not caught mid-motion. Just standing looking directly at you with an expression that has no clean name. Not guilt, not aggression, not surprise. Something prior to all of those. Something waiting to decide which one to become. You think about the motion sensor timer later, when you are safe and the shaking has stopped enough to think. 5 minutes minimum. More likely, 10. He has been standing in that room, in total darkness, in complete silence, for at least 5 minutes before you kick the door. Possibly longer. Standing still enough for the light to forget he was there. You back out of the hallway, one step at a time, eyes on him until the counter is between you and the corridor, and he comes out. Not rushing, not fleeing, walking at the pace of a man with nowhere specific to be. And his eyes stay on your face, all the way across the floor, through the door, into the dark outside. Until you can't see him anymore, you call your manager. Your voice sounds like someone doing an impression of calm. The police come and they tell you what they find when they run his description. Banned from every other store in the area. Every single one. Caught in stock rooms and back offices and employee corridors. In the spaces customers aren't supposed to go. Banned everywhere. Never charged. Hadn't committed a crime. Yet. He comes back the next day. And the day after. He doesn't go to the back anymore. He just moves through the aisles with nothing in his hands, never buying anything, and every time you look up from whatever you're doing, regardless of where he is in the store, he is looking at you. Patient. Still. Waiting for conditions you never let arrive. You leave that job eventually, and when you do, the part that's hardest to explain is that nothing happened. A man used the bathroom. A door was open. A man walked through a store and left. Nothing happened, except that somewhere between kicking that door and watching him walk out, you understood something about the dark that you can't unknow. That stillness isn't the same as absence. That a motion sensor measures movement, not presence. That something can be in a room with you, close enough to touch, and if it holds itself still enough, the light will decide it isn't there. You checked the office door at the end of your shift, closed it yourself, stood there with your hand on the frame and made sure. What you didn't check was whether the light inside had already been off long enough to forget something. You hear laughing. Not ahead of you, not distant. Directly behind you, close enough that the sound has texture. Muffled, wrong, the register of something that learned what laughing sounds like without understanding what it means. You spin around. Your flashlight cuts a white circle into the dark. Nothing. Dessert brush, the pale suggestion of sand. Silence so complete you can hear your own pulse. You tell yourself it was the wind. You tell yourself sound does strange things in open spaces at night. You tell yourself this and you keep walking, and 30 seconds later, you hear it again. Closer. You're a service tech in your 20s, somewhere between Richfield and the next town in southern Utah. It's 10, maybe 11 at night. Google Maps offers a shortcut. A dirt road, barely a road, more of a trail, brush and trees forming a natural wall on either side so dense it feels like the desert is closing around the truck as you drive. 5 minutes in, the engine stutters. No service on either phone. The flashlight in your hand is a Milwaukee, good and bright. The pipe wrench you grab from the cab is 10 inches of solid steel. You left your firearm at home on this trip. You close the truck door and walk into the desert. The dark out here has a different quality than city dark. The moon is up bright enough to cast faint shadows, and you can see perhaps 30 feet in any direction before the world becomes inference. You grew up in Arizona. You know the desert. The quiet doesn't bother you. Each step away from the truck makes you feel more tense, and you don't know why. You run. Not a decision. The body makes it before the mind catches up. You kill the flashlight. You find a rock formation maybe 3 feet high. Drop behind it. Press yourself flat. The moon gives you just enough to see by. 2 silhouettes. Running. Not toward you. Not yet. Moving through the brush maybe 50, 60 feet out. You watch them move and you understand that they are searching. Covering ground the way people cover ground when they are looking for something specific. You pick up 2 rocks and throw them far in the opposite direction. You hear them move toward the noise. You crouch walk back through the brush toward the road. The driver's side door is standing open. You closed it. You remember closing it. The interior light spills yellow onto the sand beside the truck, and you stand at the edge of the road and look at that open door and understand what it means. While you were hiding, while you were throwing rocks in the opposite direction, someone was here. You get into the truck and start it. The engine catches on the 3rd try, and you put it in drive, and you go. They're on both sides of the road, hooded figures in the brush, ducking as your headlights sweep across them, scattering back into the darkness. More than 2, more than 3, positioned at intervals that don't suggest coincidence. You throw the pipe wrench hard out the window, and you do not stop, and you do not look in the rearview mirror, and you drive until the lights of a small town appear on the horizon. The sheriff is not impressed. He asks if you've been drinking. He writes very little in his report. In the morning, back at the truck, the wire is gone. The copper pipe. Several power tools from the bed. Someone went through it methodically while you were 20 feet away in the dark, hiding behind a rock, throwing stones in the wrong direction. The tools, the wire, the copper. That's robbery. That's an explanation. But the laughing doesn't fit robbery, and robbery doesn't position people along both sides of a road in the dark and wait. We are not afraid of being alone in the dark. We are afraid of finding someone else there. You hear your own footsteps first. It's 1998, you're 19. No car, no cell phone, 13 miles between you and home. You know this part of Sarasota, the way you know your own handwriting. Every alley, every shortcut, every connecting passage. You grew up here. You are completely comfortable. You will remember that feeling later, the comfort, how fully you trusted it. The red hatchback is sitting in the middle of the road. Not parked, not pulled over, sitting in the lane with the engine running and the interior light on. No license plate. 3, maybe 4 figures inside, still in the way people are still when they're watching something, rather than doing something. You turn left at the intersection, casual, unhurried, and the moment the building corner cuts their sight line, you run. You know these alleys. You emerge back onto the street, just in time to watch the rear end of a red hatchback disappear around the corner where you were standing 30 seconds ago. They went looking for you where you weren't. You feel smug about this. That feeling has about 10 minutes left to live. The main road. Other cars moving even at this hour. You are almost calm, almost fine. Right until the moment the red hatchback accelerates hard, swings a tire-screaming U-turn, and comes back toward you on your side of the road. There is no comfortable explanation for a U-turn like that. A green space ahead of you. A massive tree at the center of it. Branches wide enough to stand on, canopy dense enough to disappear inside. You go up. You press yourself into the place where the trunk divides and you go completely still. You're dressed in all black. The leaves close around you. From the ground in the dark, you are nothing. Car doors, 2, maybe 3, opened with purpose. Then footsteps in the grass. More than one set. moving in different directions from the start, separating immediately, the way people separate when they've done this before. Then the voice.
Where is this bastard?
A second voice, different direction.
Look over there. I'll check this area.
Any remaining doubt leaves your body entirely. They drove in circles through a city at midnight to find you specifically. They parked and fanned out with a plan. And somewhere directly below you, a man is standing in the dark, looking for you. You have no idea what they want. That is the worst part. You drop from the branch and land hard and run. You run until the gas station appears and you push through the door, and the clerk looks at your face, and whatever she sees makes her stop what she's doing. The officer listens to everything and tells you they were probably trying to pick you up. You start to form a response, and then you stop, because the red hatchback is cruising slowly past the gas station on the other side of the glass, and the people inside are watching you talk to the police. You point, you tell him that's the car. He says,
"What do you want me to do about it?"
Almost 30 years later, you still don't know who they were. You don't know what the end of that night was supposed to look like in their minds. Your imagination has had 30 years to work on that question. It has never once arrived at anything you can live with. The tree saved you, or the dark did, or the all-black clothes, or the timing, or something so small you'll never identify it. Or they let you go, and you've never been able to decide which of those is harder to sleep with. The Night Clerk, still watching.